हमारे सभी दर्शकों को माइकल फुलवानी का नमस्कार, आदाब, सत श्री अकाल. Welcome to our program on immigration and legal affairs. I am your immigration attorney Michael Phulwani, and once again we have with us attorney David Nachman. David, welcome.
Thank you very much, Michael.
I have some
Thanks
questions from our viewers. So let us talk about that, and then I'm going to request you about a recent meeting you had with the ICE people and the immigration officials. If there's anything interesting or latest information, then you can provide to the viewers.
Sure,
also.
be happy to share that.
So this is a very simple question, that everyday question, and a lot of people know it, but some people still have this issue. The viewer says that my wife is a US citizen. She filed a petition for her father, mother, and brother, who is 18 years old. Basically, he filed one petition only for all the three. So the principal beneficiary was the mother, and she included her father and brother. And they had an interview at the American consulate. Consulate gave to the mother and told him, "I'm sorry, I cannot give to your father and the brother, and you have to file a separate petitions for them." But you see, he's confused. He said, previously, my wife, who is a citizen, filed for her elder brother, and at that time, the elder brother got it, her wife got it, and children got it. How come? I mean, this is different. I tell you, the difference is that immediate relative petition. That means a citizen filing for spouse, husband, wife, children under 21, or parents of a citizen. These categories are, you cannot, they are not called derivative. There are no derivatives permitted in that. So in other words, you in this case, the person, what should have done, your wife should have filed a separate petition for the mother, separate for the brother, and separate for the father. So that's the same thing happens. You see, the problem happens, I've seen unknowingly, like they get a complete surprise when the wife and children go, is here is the situation. Green card holder files a petition for the wife and children are included. So as long as he is a green card holder and they have the interview, the whole family is going to get it. Before the interview comes, he applied for a citizenship and became a citizen. Now the wife and children are going. Counsel says, "Oh, but your husband is a citizen. I cannot grant them under the green card category. Derivatives, that means the spouse and children are no longer continuing this petition." So there is shocking news that I shouldn't have become a citizen then. My number was coming under second preference. I should have stayed until the whole family got the visa. So this is a very important thing. People miss that, especially those who filed a green card under 2A, and then they're waiting in the line. Just 6 months before the number is going to come, this guy becomes a citizen, and the counsel says sorry. Of course, what I did in a couple of cases, I was able to convince the USCIS Immigration Service in New Delhi, saying that this is what happened, and they accepted those petitions on humanitarian grounds for the children and processed quickly. But I'm saying,
excellent.
You got to know these things, you got to know these tricks, you got to know the law before. Simple thing. All my friends filed it, green card holder, whole family get it. My case is not happening because my friend, you become a citizen, the whole category changed now.
The argument, humanitarian argument, is family unity, right?
I mean, they accept, basically, they are still entitled, so that's not the IR issue. IR case is still the petition, 130. But you file here, that is going to take about a year. So about 1 year, that's going to be stuck.
Right.
But in those cases, the Immigration Service has the discretion to accept, even if the person is not permanently residing in India, accept the petition, approve within 2-3 weeks, and get the case going, and the consular process can be completed in maybe a couple of months. And
okay.
So before I go further, I have few more questions, but let me ask you about your recent meeting you had with ICE people, and you had some immigration people. Is there anything interesting that you want to tell our viewers?
Well, Michael, I was actually, we were discussing, I attended a meeting yesterday, which was an invitation-only meeting, where the ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, staff from New York and New Jersey both were putting forth what's called the IMAGE program for employers. And I don't know that either you or I, Michael, are saying that we are recommending our clients to go into the IMAGE program, but it's something that I think that all of our clients need to know about. The image program.
I think, just interrupt you for a second. That's going to depend on a case-by-case basis, whether it's appropriate or correct or right at this time for the client to go into the image program or not.
That's right.
So don't rush into getting into image.
Absolutely, but I think it's something that's important for everyone to know about, because there are points in the image program that are things that are, I think, going to happen nationally soon. One of them, of course, is the E-Verify program, and one of the things that we wanted to tell our viewers about was what's called an E-Verify self-check. There was actually a PowerPoint presentation that was given yesterday in New York City on the E-Verify self-check. The representative of the enumeration division of the USCIS spoke about how the self-verify program works, that you can actually check to see whether or not you are actually in the database and that you are work authorized. So you can go to www.uscis.gov. You can go to the E-Verify section, go to the E-Verify self-check section, and then you can check to see that you are in fact work authorized in the database, and that database crosses through Social Security Administration and also through the U.S. Department of Homeland Security database.
So it's a good idea for the worker, for the applicant, person who is a citizen, green card holder, or who has work authorization.
Any U.S. worker, Michael.
Any U.S. worker, he can go to make sure before he go. Generally, citizen green card is not an issue. The question is people have work authorization on whatever other basis.
Correct.
So they want to see before I go to the employer. An employer is going to probably do the same thing. So before he does it, may as well be certain that I am in the E-Verify system.
That's right.
But this can also be accessed by the employers, and actually going forward, this is going to be the law, this is going to be the rule that every employer will be probably at some point, maybe a few years down the road.
Well, they didn't go that far, Michael. They didn't say for sure, but actually I'm giving a speech in Atlantic City in a couple of weeks on the nationalization of the E-Verify program, and I think that that's where the Obama administration seems to be going, is that in the direction of making E-Verify mandatory. And the way that they're doing it is that obviously E-Verify is becoming mandatory in certain states, Colorado, Utah, many of the southern states. Also, E-Verify, as many of our viewers know, is required in order to get a STEM extension on their OPT. So if you want to get the additional 17 months extension on OPT, you have to go into E-Verify. So employers are required to go into E-Verify. So the government is doing it in a very graduated manner. They're trying to bring all employers into E-Verify.
It's not fair. David, I'm going to make a point, and I want to know. What I'm saying is there has to be a balance maintained between compelling E-Verify to the employers and the CIR. I can understand if we are going parallel. On one hand, we passed the comprehensive immigration reform under which all the people who are here illegally, they have a work permission and they can continue to work. I would say yes, this is a very good thing to do, so that for future illegal entrants, it will be a problem if they are not in the E-Verify system. But if you do it now, I'm saying if you do it now, next year, I'm sure the Obama administration is aware of this, and they are saying the same thing that I'm saying probably.
It's a great point, Michael, because it's exactly what I was speaking to one of the heads from Washington of ICE, and I was also speaking to one of the heads in Washington of the E-Verify program. And I had it was actually the three of us, we were chatting, and one of the things that we talked about was, what is the E-Verify program? Well, whenever I go out and speak about E-Verify, I say that E-Verify is the I-9 form process on steroids. Because what it is I-9s, and what happened in 1986? Well, in 1986, they promulgated the I-9 program. And what was the other side of that bill? The other side was an amnesty. So if you want to go ahead and legislate the E-Verify program, then Michael, you're absolutely right. The other side of that program should be some kind of comprehensive immigration reform or benefit, amnesty, or new type of program that gives working toward a green card benefits to individuals in the United States who don't presently have that opportunity.
Otherwise, I can't see what kind of America, US we will see with forcing the E-Verify without taking care of the people that are unlawfully in the US.
I absolutely agree.
Right?
And I think
we got to take a short break, And right after the break, we will continue this discussion. I'm sure a lot of our viewers are concerned to know what is going to happen if E-Verify is forced upon them before giving them a legal status. So stay tuned and we will be back. Welcome back. Just before the break, we were discussing about the E-Verify program under which a person self can go in and see the database whether I am permitted to work or I am not permitted to work. It's a good idea to have that done, and also the employers will be, I think, will be in a position to do that same thing before hiring anybody. And what we were discussing is whether there should be a proper balance between a CIR and a E-Verify system. They both should go concurrently with a view that both things happen together, then there's no problem. Because the people that are unlawfully, illegally here, they will be a legal status, they can go to E-Verify, they'll see their name that they are permitted to work. But if you only go E-Verify without giving them it's a disaster. Millions of people then will lose jobs, right? And it will be terrible thing. Jobs like restaurants, like household workers, like dishwashers.
Well, what will happen, Michael, is that we're going to force people to go underground, and they're not going to be paying taxes, and we're doing more harm than we are good to the economy.
Do the government, do the Obama administration, do these ICE officials aware of this fact? Are they not concerned that that pushing E-Verify without CIR is not a good idea?
Well, I think that they're mindful of the issues, and they are discussing the issues, and I think that that's one of the reasons, Michael, why the E-Verify implementation has been and continues to be very graduated and reasoned, as opposed to thrusting it upon everyone across the country, immediately. So I think that there is thought being given. When we met in New York with the ICE officials also, as I mentioned before the break, we talked about image, and that's an area that's very, very important to them. They're talking about helping employers to comply with the various types of procedures under the image program so that employers can be recognized for their membership in the image program. Now, again, we're not saying that you should go into image, but we need to help you to understand, help employers throughout the United States understand what the image program is all about. And actually, the ICE officials with whom I spoke in Washington, D.C. are very interested in possibly coming on our show and telling the public, telling the viewers about the image program, how it works, and possibly helping us to understand and refute some of the problems that some of our colleagues see with the image program.
What I would say that the big companies whose most of the employees are legal, it is not a bad idea, because by going into joining the E-Verify program, they are kind of protected in some way. So is it true? Otherwise, why would the company volunteer and go in the E-Verify system? What is the advantage of? That's my question, basically. Is there an advantage to the employer companies to join the E-Verify program?
Well, currently it's a voluntary system, as you know, Michael. It's not mandatory, except unless you're forced into it through the STEM extension. I mean, now the advantage, of course, of being in E-Verify is that you can give the OPT STEM extensions for 17 additional months. So that's one advantage. It also, if you're a government contractor, you also have to go into E-Verify, and then you have to verify either the individual is working on the contract or all of your employees. Also, the certain states where E-Verify is legislated, you have to go into E-Verify. So what are the advantages of E-Verify? Well, you know, what it also does is that it accelerates the Social Security mismatch issue, so that employers potentially won't end up getting Social Security mismatch letters. So that's another advantage of it. But all in all, again, I think that they're taking a very slow and reasoned approach as opposed to forcing everyone into it.
We were talking, we mentioned about the CIR, the Comprehensive Immigration Reform.
Yeah.
And a lot of our viewers are asking this question all the time: when? Will it not? Because they have been hearing from the Bush times and for many years, a bill is coming, the law will be passed. They get all ready, all set, and it doesn't happen. What is your opinion? You think that kind of bill ultimately someday is going to pass? How long you think forecast? Of course, what we'll try to do, David, in future programs, we'll try to hopefully bring Senator Menendez, who is very much involved in the immigration legislation, and come on this program on TV Asia and give directly from horse's mouth the information on what is happening in behind the scenes, what is happening in the Capitol Hill, and
That's
what
right.
he thinks as a senior Senate member. He has got a lot of ideas. He's very close to the President Obama also, and very much involved in the communities with regard to the CIR. So what's your thoughts?
Well, actually, Michael, you know, I was in Washington, D.C., I believe it was in April for Lobby Day of the American Immigration Lawyers Association. We spoke directly to Senator Menendez, who clearly is in favor of some form of comprehensive immigration reform, and he continues to be. We also, you and I met with Senator Menendez a couple of weeks later.
Yeah,
we had a
lunch
right.
lunch in New Jersey.
That's right.
And
he also said the same thing. He was very much in favor of comprehensive immigration reform, understood the issues clearly. I don't know that, you know, I don't know that really a lot of the senators have as much of a command of the issues.
Actually,
as Senator
prepared a detailed memorandum with my suggestions of what can be done in the CIR, and he was very much interested. So we will pursue these thoughts with him, and we'll try to help him also in any way that we can. And I'm sure he'll be more than happy someday, I don't know when it will happen, to come and talk to our viewers.
Yeah, I think Senator Menendez and his staffers all understand the immigration issue very, very well, the depth and the breadth of the issues. And I think that they have always said that they will work with anyone who has any good ideas on how to resolve the issue.
I was told that, practically speaking, it's less likely that this is going to happen before the elections in 2012, because any party takes a strong position, probably may lose some votes. So after the elections, especially if President Obama gets another 4 years, he doesn't care, then he'll go with full speed trying to get a CIR passed. So any political party, whether Democrats and Republicans, probably this may happen, in my opinion, sometimes in 2030.
I believe you're right, Michael. I believe that that's probably true. Yeah.
Well, I think it's time for a short break, and right after the break we'll continue some more questions that we have from viewers. So stay tuned. Welcome back. Just before the break, we were talking about the recent meeting that David Nachman had with the officials of the